People call it the Cheers of Huntington Beach. Because it's just everyone knows your name. I know mostly everybody's name that walks in there. So
who's the norm?
Oh boy.
No. And we're back with another episode of Unlocking Huntington Beach. What's going on? My name is Lane Stone. I'm with my co-host, Amber Dougherty, and we have a special guest today. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can probably guess who our special guest is, but if you're listening on the podcast forums, we're going to give you a couple clues, and you can guess while you're driving, and then we'll get into a really good conversation.
Okay, so our special guest today has been recognized by the Anaheim Ducks Hall of Heroes. She has organized adrenal cancer awareness and fundraising events for the Adrenal Cure Collective and was just recently Huntington Beach Chamber honored Best of Huntington Beach for 2025.
Okay. Now, who is our esteemed, awesome, amazing guest today?
Suzanne of Corner Market.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me. Wow. My head is so big, I'm not sure I'm going to fit back outside the door.
I think you're going to be just fine. But it's like there's something to be said when we're talking about like your philanthropic efforts, your Anaheim Ducks Hall of Heroes, your chamber honors, your honorees, and now also a cookbook on the way.
Yes, that's very exciting.
That's so cool. So when you get these awards or when you're honored like this, like does it mean something to you, or is it just like, I'm just going about my day and it's cool I have it, but I'm just going to keep continuing?
It means so much to me. And what I've always said to everybody is that I would be remiss if I didn't do a lot of the philanthropic things that I do there, because I have such a great audience and people always want to join in. So somebody made this analogy and they said, you're the shiny penny. Everybody wants to come and be around that and be around what's the light. And so if I can just be the centerpiece and be like, hey, let's raise money for this charity or do something for these people. Like during the fires, it was amazing what we did for collections on the fires. I mean, we had to rent space and trucks. And so I think it means a lot, the fact that even though it's just this tiny little place, it's making a big impact.
Yeah, and let's talk about this tiny little place. I was reading that this tiny little place is turning 100 years old, or is it already 100 years old this year?
There's some discrepancy on the year. Now, I was told it's over 100.
Over 100.
There is a hitching post that's right outside the market. If you go by the market and see it, that they tied the horses up. No, right next to, where the dogs are always at on Sunday morning? Yeah. They actually tied the dogs up on the hitching post, but it says 1908.
1908. Wow.
So that's the hitching post. But the building itself, there's actually a lot of, history of that. It was the market for a encampment that was there. So there's a couple different years that it was, but it's old.
Trust
me, it's old.
100 years old. I think it's at least 100 plus.
Yeah.
100 plus years old, and that's amazing. But what drew you when you were looking for space at the time to that corner market?
I was on vacation, and we were looking for a place to get just some snacks and things like that. And so we were walking and we walked past it and I got this feeling. You ever get that oh my gosh,
gut
just
feeling.
this weird, something was incredible about this building. And I went inside and I actually said to the cashier, I'm going to give you my business card. And if the owner is ever looking to sell, I would love to talk to her. And I never heard anything. And then I went back. I lived in Arizona at the time and I was on a website called Biz Buy Sell, which does businesses. And up popped a picture of the patio because it's all non-disclosure. So nobody wants to, you're not supposed to disclose what the business is. And I was like, I know that patio. And I called the broker and within 4 hours we were done. It was sold.
Wow.
It was.
You knew right away.
I knew right away.
Well, thanks for the call though. I gave you my card. Why would you call me? But at least it meant to be. So that was really cool. When you first opened up and you were envisioning the space, is it basically what it is today, 10 years later, as what you thought it was going to be before you opened up, or have you made modifications, or what?
It's exactly what I thought it was going to be, because when I opened, I thought, I just want kids to come in after school. I want it to be a centerpiece on the weekends. I want it to be a part of the community. And literally from the second we opened the doors, it's been that. We opened on July 4th. So that was, everyone kept saying, you have to be open by July 4th. And I was like, why? July 4th because I didn't live around here.
Yeah.
So I was like, I had no understanding.
get it.
And now I was like, wow, now I really
Tons of
understand
action.
it. It was unbelievable. What an anniversary to have.
Yeah.
So that's kind of when we're hoping to have the cookbook up and out and running.
By July 4th?
By July 4th.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it'll be a little anniversary.
And what's
kick.
funny is probably 10 years ago when the bikes were rolling up, it was probably just regular bikes, and now they're all e-bikes that are all
Exactly.
even in a short period of time. 10 years isn't that long, but things changed.
Oh, a lot. Like the bike parade used to be just like a few bikes. Now it's like 30,000 bikes. And it's wild.
Is there anything that you think that's still left for the corner, like the corner market, and like things that you think that
Evolution.
yes, the evolution of where, like a future vision of what you still like to do, or is it everything you just said? Is everything you thought it was going to be 10 years ago, but 10 years
I
from
think
now,
there's always room for growth and there's always room to add. And that's the cool part about the space is that it does so many things. It's only 500 feet. That building is teeny tiny, but we maximize it and we do a lot of things out of there. So I'm always thinking, my brain doesn't shut off. So, which is why I'm always doing events and fundraising, and because I just love to do different things and I like to keep it fresh and for people to be like, hey, I wonder what's going on down there this weekend. So I think there's a lot of room for growth, and I think there's room to even do some other spaces, I'm hoping, down the road. So I've got my eye on a few things in Huntington Beach. That's for another podcast.
Is this an exclusive? Is this an exclusive? No.
This is an
Anything you want to announce?
quite frankly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I'd love to see you expand.
Yeah. Nothing big, but we've got some ideas, and I think it's going to probably by the end of the year, we should have something to come back and do another podcast about.
Is it going to be on a corner again?
It actually is.
Oh, wow. It's got to stay on the corner.
Keep that name.
Yes, that's cool. You didn't have to answer that, but that was cool. Okay, so for those that maybe are unfamiliar and haven't, been to the market yet, can you describe it without using the words coffee or pastries or goodies, and just like what would make the feeling and the experience that somebody would feel like
It's
when
really
they come
easy.
to you?
You're not even done talking, and I'm like, I know what I'm going to say.
Perfect.
People call it the Cheers of Huntington Beach. Because it's just everyone knows your name. I know mostly everybody's name that walks in there. So
Who's the norm? Just
Oh
kidding.
boy.
No. You don't have to.
But there's just there's this feeling of home. And that's what everyone always says to me. You cook like my mom, or you cook like my grandma. And you make it feel like home. So,
well, one thing that you did that was really cool too was I remember there were like neighbors that were doing home cooked meals, and they were selling them was it like once a week or something like that they would do, like, was that
out of the market?
Out of the market, yeah.
I always had guest chefs, and that's another thing that I'd like to bring back. That was a little bit closer to pre-COVID, but we had a lot of people come in, and I would say, they would always say, I always wanted to do. It's hard, but like restaurants, food operation is not for the weary, not for the weak. It's just a tough grind. And I always love when people come in and say, I wish I could do, a night. So I let all these kind of neighbors come in and just be a guest chef. And I used to interview them and give their story, and they would do something from the heart. It was really, really cool.
And that's what I think of when you said the word home, is I thought of like little things like that in the history of what that market's been and what some of the stories that have been told from there. Like even my friend's mom, I think, cooked something, and they're of Indian descent, and I've never had like and Hemmel's my hey Hemmel, and I've never had like a legitimate, authentic, home cooked Indian cuisine before, and like that gave an opportunity for us to try something like that.
And they invited me to their home prior to cooking there so that I could taste it and that was exactly it. It was like, what a friendship that was bloomed out of just doing something simple, and that's allowing her to come in and do a dream that she wanted to be able to cook in a commercial kitchen and share it with everybody. So it was really neat.
Well, we also have time to talk a little bit about your cookbook too.
Sure.
What inspired you to create a cookbook? What is it going to be like? When is it going to be available? It's not like 4th of July?
I'm hoping 4th of July.
Okay.
But it's not just a cookbook. I've done it more like it's kind of unique, that it's a little bit of an autobiography, that the recipes kind of coincide with parts of my life, and every recipe has a meaning and a story behind it. So I've even done a music playlist to play while you're doing certain recipes, and I've got dedications to people. And so I'm hoping to be able to, make it something very unique, not just a book that you're going to have in your kitchen, but you're going to have it on your nightstand and be like, I want to read that story about this, and then in the morning get up and make something. So it'll be a little bit different than your traditional cookbook.
That's awesome. And then I'm sure you living on 19th Street,
gosh,
right? I grew
yeah.
up on 11th Street. We all have like personal stories. I think that's really cool about Street Markets too. It's like there's probably a million of them, and you probably get tired of hearing all a million of them.
I love it. I could never hear enough.
For me, it was during COVID when I was out of a job for a short period, and it was a dark time for a lot of people. I wasn't married yet. I was alone, just me and Samantha, and I would walk and get coffee, and I was part of the early morning crew. I'm sure you remember we'd be lined up out front waiting for the doors to open.
Samantha was the first one in every day.
And, just getting that cup of coffee and the warm way you embrace the community. And it was like, it became like the norm for me, and it brought so much joy in a time that was kind of a bummer for a lot of people. So,
and I think that's why people liked it. It was a way to get out of the house during COVID. I had people that were there breakfast, lunch, and dinner just because they were home and they were working. And, but, just being able to even just come and grab a cookie, they were just happy to be out and about. So it meant a lot to a lot of people. And it meant a lot to me to be able to, people to come back and say, you were like my savior. There's a saying that I would love to send to you guys that somebody said about the time of what COVID meant to them. And when I even think about it, it brings tears to my eyes. They were just saying, it was a light in a really dark time. So
absolutely.
And that's what you felt too.
That's literally what I was telling Lane when we were talking about the pod. Yeah.
And even for the 10 years that you've been here now, like you feel like a true, and you probably feel like a local, like a Huntington Beach local. Yeah, you are. And you are a true Huntington, because you've probably done more for the community in the last 10 years than the average local has been here for over 30 years. Yep. Right. So when you think about even some of the vendors that you feature in your store, and like, they're all local, right?
Yes.
And was there ever a pitch, or do you get pitches all the time from non-locals? And what do you have to what are some things that you have to turn down, or what makes it to your store as well too?
I feel like it's whatever, and I said this a long time ago, which I always feel like people are like, oh wow, but if I like it, I feel like I know my customers will like it. I feel like I really have that kind of connection with everyone that comes in there, that if I bring something in, it's truly something that inspires me, or it's something that I truly love. I do turn people down only because I just know what is going to go and what's not going to go there. By now, I do. Yeah. I've made some hiccups, but it's really just been a cohesive place of me liking something, and then the customers come in. So when people come in and they're like, oh, they're so excited to see something, I'm like, okay, I did the right thing. So, are
there any like faux pas or like do's and don'ts when it comes to like a corner market? Don't. I don't know. I can't think of any, but like a
secret menu.
No, maybe like a secret menu, or don't know what you want by the time you get up to the counter. Like I don't know, little things like.
Trying to think from personal experience. I think I was such a regular that I just always knew. I think for someone that hasn't gone before, looking up on Instagram and just kind of checking out.
Yeah. Well, it was funny. For a long time, we didn't have a menu up. We just kind of did it because I was doing specials. So people would come in and they were so turned around. And they'd be like looking like on the ceiling for the menu, like what is going on here? So now we have the menus up. So now it's a little bit more better streamlined. But during COVID, we weren't. That was the other thing. It was very hard to get supplies. It was hard to get anything like boxes or bags or meat. Like the most random stuff would be like, and the common answer was, oh, it's out on the boats. So, it was, we weren't sure what we were going to have like the following week. So to have a menu up felt kind of strange to keep saying like, oh, we're out of that and we're out of that.
And you can just go to the middle of the street and look out towards the water and see those boats.
Yeah, exactly. That's very frustrating.
Yeah, it's just right there.
I need my pastry bag.
Yes. All right. Well, we want to play like a little this or that game.
Oh, I love that.
Okay.
And
so we'll ask a couple questions. Okay. So we'll start with hot coffee or iced coffee?
Hot. Americano.
Hot Americano. Okay. Cook at home or eat out?
Eat out.
Summer or winter?
Winter.
Croissant or sourdough?
Croissant.
A cranish or a cookie?
Oh, that's like Sophie's Choice.
Yeah.
That's a hard one.
A cookie.
Okay, perfect. Do you have anything you want to try?
No.
Or like...
Oh, I know. Morning person, night person.
Now I'm a morning person.
I was going to say, you kind of have to be.
Now I do. When we had, when I lived in Arizona, we were a wholesale company, and so I had to be a night person.
Okay.
So to flip-flop those hours was a little difficult.
Which do you like better, though? Would you say?
I do like honestly, I like the nighttime because I do miss having my mornings to get up kind of slowly. Now it's like, it's a mad dash because I'm really late, which is if you want to know something that's not good, is that I'm always perpetually late. If you ask anybody that knows me, I'm always late. So
Not here. She was 30 minutes early. No, I was trying to throw you across. She was 30 minutes early, everybody. Not 30. But that's funny. Okay, well, for those that maybe don't know you so well, like if you weren't at the market, like what would you be doing? Like,
I love to walk. I used to love to run until I hurt my back, but now I do love to do walking along the beach. Is just to walk in that little spot of Huntington and see the pier as you're walking. I mean, there's nothing better than that view.
you definitely can't do this in Arizona, by the way.
No, there's no water in Arizona. I love Napa. I'm a big wine drinker. Can I say that?
Oh, yeah, yes, please.
Yes.
Like,
Do we have a bottle around?
yeah, I was going to say. But yeah, I'm big Napa fan. Traveling. I love to, now I'm able to travel a little bit. I've kind of being closed on Mondays and Tuesdays. I give myself that time off and I do a little traveling, so.
Yeah, well, if you ever find yourself like in Sonoma County outside of Napa and you're like in the Forestville area, let us know because our business partners have a property there and we're all winos on this team.
Oh, good.
And,
All right.
yeah. Even my aunt and uncle have a winery in Solvang. So
wow.
Yeah, so like we'll
Solvang Bakery
hook you up
is
all the way down.
the gingerbread house is up there.
Yes,
Yeah.
there you go.
I actually tried to get a custom. I was too late, but I wanted a gingerbread house that was shaped like the corner market.
Next year.
But
Next
but
year.
it is funny. Sometimes people will come in and they go, "What time do you get here?" And I go, "Well, it depends upon how much wine I drank." And I see some people are like, "Okay." So I'm like, "No, it's just like my
being
standing
honest.
joke." Yeah.
And for the menu that you serve, it's seasonal, right? And
change
it
a lot
always
of things.
changes. Yes, yes.
I have some standard stuff, but I love to do specials. I love to keep it kind of. So I just have a woman that just started coming in. I have her come in and she makes biscuits. So she was, told me she's like the biscuit queen. I said, well, all right, I've got to add some biscuits. So now I've got biscuits there. Just something
That's
fun.
so cool.
Change it up.
What about pizza night? Is that going to be
So I did it last
regularly?
week. I did it last week I had donated to a charity event for STEM Advantage. I donated a private pizza party. And they raised so much money on the first one, they called me from there and said, can we offer a second one? And they wanted to, they'll just however it would work for you to do. And so I did a second pizza party, and these ladies were so fun. And so it was. Pizza night is just a very
night was
unique little
great.
thing. People don't at first they're always like, how does that work? What do? You have to pre-call, and so now it's become a thing. Everybody kind of always gets excited for pizza night.
Is there like a place where we can just follow your like charities? You know what I mean? Like if people love you and people like will follow and probably contribute to a lot of what you're contributing to. Is there?
So every year, Christmas time, I always pick a charity. This year, I picked the Cal Fire Foundation because my son is a firefighter now in Compton. And so I let him pick the charity this year. But every year I try to pick something for the entire winter. We promote and we raise funds and we do something really special. And then during the year, I try to just pick, if it's Mother's Day, we did Working Wardrobes. We've done Curates Children's Home, Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. We just always pick, something that's kind of indicative of whatever we're kind of working on
we just saw the pet adoption too, right? Over the weekend.
I do a ton of pet adoption
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, I have 2 dogs. I have a Corgi and a Shih Tzu, and they're the loves of my life.
So do you take the Corgi down to like the Corgi Beach Day when there's like
he
hundreds?
doesn't do well with other dogs. He would not. Too
much activity.
Yeah.
All I see are just like thousands of wiggle butts on this.
Yeah.
It's like crazy.
He just, for whatever reason, he loves people, doesn't like other dogs.
How funny.
Yeah, he's a little odd with other dogs, and it's not fun because he's going to rip my arm off one day. He's just so aggressive.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Anything else before we wrap up here?
Thank you, Suzanne.
Yeah.
No, thanks you guys.
Oh my
Thank
God.
you so much. I really appreciate it. This was really fun.
This was fun. Thank you. Well, hopefully we can do another one, right?
I know.
and-
With
and-
your late breaking news.
Yes, I mean we don't have to really post about it if we don't want to, but if we could say, hey, they're finding maybe a second location on a corner somewhere coming soon, then that's enough
You're
of a
welcome
teaser.
to. Yeah, it's a great teaser, and then I'll come back for that
Exciting.
final reveal. deal.
We'd love that.
Well, thank you so much for watching, and we love doing this each and every week. So stay tuned for next week's episode of Unlocking Huntington Beach. You can find us at Unlocking HB on Instagram and YouTube. And I'll leave you with this: do good. Huntington Beach deserves it.